very good morning to you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here, as always, on Global Television. We're live in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, and this is how we, with a lot of delight, welcome you to the first weekday edition of Global Morning. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe.
And I am Priscilla Obasi. Always a delight to be here. It's Christmas week, and coming to work this morning felt a bit cold.
Right.
Because the streets are already getting dry and a bit lonely. The city of Abuja here. So, I mean, I don't know how it's going to be, but I trust and I hope that it's going to be an interesting one this week. Yeah.
Right.
It's a good way to start the week. Like I always say, I like to start on a Monday because it sets your tone for the rest of the week.
Yeah, it does.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, Priscilla. And by the way, I think it's also a piece of good news coming through that all of the other students that had been taken or abducted from
Niger State.
Yes, Niger State have
been
now been freed or released, if you like.
My problem with this news, all this kind of news, that it doesn't come with so much detail. I feel like
because of the security element about it.
We need to have more details there. Like the names, maybe the names of the pupils, like what happened, what kind of negotiations took place that led to their release. You know, we need to just have all these kinds of details. That way, I think it makes citizens more alert. Yeah, it makes them understand the repercussion of some kind of things. Right. But it just comes as they've been released, they've been abducted, they've been released. So those that were abducted, we didn't even get to know their names. We don't know. We couldn't verify really these really humans. Do you understand? Right. Yeah. So we need to have details. I don't think this will happen in a saner country. I don't want to say we're not sane though, but I mean, it can be saner. Yeah. So there's just so much. I don't know. It just looks a bit vague when we get to see this kind of news because it makes it look, I don't want to say unauthentic, but I mean, you just want to question a lot of things about it because of the fact that it doesn't have so much details to it. And it's concerning, really. It is. So, well, I saw the news yesterday and I'm happy. If actually they were released, why not? if they were released, if they were abducted, I'm happy. But at the end of the day, we still want a situation where we don't get to hear this kind of news, you know, people being abducted, released. It will be better if we don't even get to see any of such play outs because as much as we want to be happy that they've released them, if they were really abducted, what happened during the times that they were abducted, what actually played out, what, you know, at this point we're talking about those kids going to a rehab or something because I can imagine what had gone on if it actually if it actually happened. So it's a serious situation that sometimes it's just the way it's been presented. It's been made, you know, it's been put out lightly and it doesn't give the seriousness, you know, to the and how we can even tackle it. It's just a bit vague for me, honestly.
I'll tell you what some of my concerns are really with news like this. First of all, yes, we are relieved hearing that these children have been freed, of course, for their families, those who love them, their communities, their school, and all of that. And hopefully things begin to return to normal as quickly as possible, especially after all of these holiday rush and what have you. But like you also mentioned, which is the fact, right? It will strengthen public trust in institutions if there's some sort of authenticity, all right, you have some specifics in these details, and then what else? You're transparent. You may not want to tell us about all of the negotiations because some things are really sensitive, some things I don't want to say classified, but they are more like intelligence level conversation that you don't want to put out there in public. But can we not, for example, understand the circumstances that led to this abduction in the first instance?
Exactly.
What did we have to do? To what length did we have to go to ensure the release of these children?
As simple as
what could have been done better or differently to avert this?
Yes.
Because in some of these cases, we heard, like in one of them, we heard that, well, there had been military presence around the school until about an hour or 2 hours. Some story says 30 minutes before the attack and things like that. What went wrong? We must be able to have those details to keep us in check, to also help members of the public do their bits in the future. And then more importantly, We also want to understand, will there be repercussion for those who orchestrated this, whether they were insiders and those who actually carried out the act on that day, or was it part of the negotiation that, well, they will not be apprehended, they will not be prosecuted, the important thing ultimately is that the children are released? These are bugging questions. Yes, the parents, the loved ones, I mean, they may feel relieved, they may find some solace in knowing that their children are back unhurt, hopefully. All of that, of course, you can't talk about unhurt if you don't acknowledge trauma with things like this. But the question is, will they not also come to a point later on and ask themselves what exactly led to this abduction? For example, following these abductions, I mean, KB and Niger State, the next thing we knew was schools were shut down. At least we heard 47 schools were shut down. That's an embarrassment to a country like Nigeria. In addition to the academic disruption, I mean, of course, there's an academic calendar. So once you shut down schools like that, one of the things you have done is that you have disrupted the academic flow, so to say. All right, and then we add to that the trauma that has happened to these very children and those who would have heard about the story. For example, following these two incidents, I heard that the school somewhere in Dutse, all right, another boarding school, there was panic around there because parents had been told that gunmen had come. And you can imagine how much of stir that would have already created in the minds of these parents. They all rushed to the school only to realize that it was false alarm. But you blame them. They say once bitten, twice shy. These days, my friend will say once bitten, forever shy. Forever shy. So if you have followed these sort of very unpleasant stories over time and you hear there's such an alarm or there's such an attack supposedly in a school where your child or children are in attendance, it's only natural that you want to rush there. And I was told that parents came in their vehicles and everything to evacuate their children. They didn't want to hear any story. The first thing was safety. Get their children out of that place. And this is not something you want for a country like Nigeria, where we are hopefully building a $1 trillion economy, where we are believing and trusting that foreign investors will come and put their money here, where we are telling the world, including the United States, that we are safe, we are not in trouble, we are at peace with ourselves and things like that. So we don't want to have that sort of conflict. We want to have a situation where what we are telling the world is exactly what is happening real time on the ground.
And it looks as if we're attracting because the world will always come, whether we're doing well, whether we're taking a security conscious or not. What will happen is just that we'll just attract like minds, would attract more corrupt people around the world, and they will continue to come. The United States of America lost Charlie Kirk at some point, and in less than 48 hours, they were able to apprehend the shooter. They were able to, inform the public who the shooter was. It was not. This was somebody that had a family. Do you understand? He had parents, and regardless of all of that, they presented him. He was not a known terrorist. Do you get? Regardless of his family, they presented this guy to the world and said, "This is the person." Now, our own government have come out to tell us that we have released the kids. We did not hear anything about those that abducted them. We did not hear any details about them being apprehended. We just heard they have been released. We don't even know who these kids are. It's just so funny. Like, it looks as if, I don't know, as if we are constantly dealing with dummies, as if we are some kind of, it doesn't make sense, really.
Like Nigerians don't deserve to know.
We don't deserve to know. We can be treated with so much, I don't know, it's no sort of importance at all to her citizens, and it's really concerning. How do you come out to just say they have released them? What happens to those that abducted them? What happens to those that kept them in captivity for this long? What happens to what is the fate of those people? Those are the conversations we should be having. It should come along with whatever information you're giving to the public, but not just coming to tell us, okay, they've released them, and then tomorrow they are still there waiting to abduct another people, and they do it again.
The cycle just continues.
The cycle just continues. It's concerning, really. It is. I'm happy for these kids, and I am so happy for their family members, but we need to do better.
Well, yes, we should do better by all means. We owe that to ourselves, not just by way of trying to explain to a foreign nation or trying to look good to the United States authorities, especially President Donald Trump. It is the job of government primarily to ensure the security and safety of its citizens and their property, wherever they may be. Let's take a quick break. Of course, when we return, there's so much to talk about on the show. Do stay with us.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Incidentally, the Christmas week, of course, is finally here. It's official now. And for those of us who have looked forward to it, and here's this, just a matter of, 3 days away. For some people, it's actually 2 days, because in a place like Australia, for example, it's already evening. And for them, it's probably a matter of hours. But here's the thing. People bother about several things regarding Christmas. One, they're looking at their savings, vis-a-vis their spending list, or if you like, their shopping list. And then they're also looking at trips that they need to take. Some persons have not seen their families this entire year. There are those who have not met, been able to connect with their families for a couple of years. Of course, you have Nigerians who live abroad who would, by tradition, come home every Yuletide season, such as this. There are those who say, well, for whatever it's worth, I don't even believe in Christmas, but it's end of year. We have to celebrate and make merry, and of course, do things away from work and the hustle culture, and things like that. This is that time. But there's also the challenge of staying safe, staying healthy, and of course, ensuring that your mental health is not in any way damaged. There's the pressure that comes with this period, especially from a financial standpoint, where people want to achieve in a few days what they've not been able to accomplish the entire year. So what is the advice? Is to say that keep the main thing. First of all, your health is flourishing, or at least you are overall in good health. And the second, be sure that you do not live above your means. Priscilla, that's a bit of a difficult conversation to have now. Telling people not to live above their means, really. Beyond the rice and chicken, what else do you really need?
But why do you want to live above your means? Is the first question. Well, it's that time to actually relax. But if you want a dirty December, I think you should start planning from January. Yes, start saving funds.
Not on December 4th.
December 4th. So you save funds ahead for a dirty December.
Right.
So that when you get to that dirty December, you'll be able to, have all the fun you want.
And turn up big time.
Exactly. But when you don't plan well, and then you don't know that there's a January that has, they say January has how many days? January is like a whole year. It's another year. So you don't plan for such a time. I mean, it begins to cause tension, it begins to cause a lot of troubles here and there. People borrow, really.
Right.
People borrow just to survive the January season, and I mean, it's not a good thing. So this is for next year. This piece of advice is just for next year. Plan ahead for a dirty December you want to have. You don't have to put yourself in that fix. You don't really have to impress anybody. You do not have to. I tell you, you don't have to. Leave the whole social media thing. A lot of people live fake lives, and that's what you have to know. So just live within your means. Whatever it is you can afford, do it, and work harder for something bigger. Yeah, that's what I'll say.
You have to work harder for something bigger, and remember that nobody's life should end in January. Not literally. I mean, everything you want to do every day will continue in January. It doesn't really end in December. That's the point, right? Because there's going to be another December, another December.
Exactly. For those that always want to travel, I cannot really understand it, really. I know that it's important to go catch fun, catch up with family members. Right. I saw a video yesterday of a family that was traveling and were kidnapped. They had to, just do away their vehicle on the way, and they kidnapped them, like did you really have to travel? The country is not so
More
safe.
so by road.
I'm telling you, the country is not safe right now. So if you know you can't go by air, I mean, I don't know, but like you said, there will always be another December until we're able to deal with this insecurity that is ravaging the country. Everybody needs to stay safe. Your security is firstly in your hands. At this point, we cannot even depend on the government right now because it looks like the whole situation is beyond their control. So you just do your own due diligence, do what you can do to stay safe. You don't have to travel if you don't have to travel. Yeah.
It's interesting, like somebody jokingly said, even though this is a matter of life and death, that look, it's way more expensive now to travel by road than by air because its calculation is simple. You get the money to pay for your road trip. Then you also keep some aside just in case you get kidnapped.
How much can you keep aside?
Well, that's why the person says it's far more expensive.
Far more expensive.
Sometimes as much as 2, 5, 10 million, 20 million or what have you. But the question is, how many Nigerians today have that amount for that very that's demonic kind of.
Who would even keep money for
that?
But
the person is trying to reenact the reality that we have to deal with, and that's a shame, really. But again, like Priscilla said, we've got to understand that some things can wait, and we must also appreciate the times that we live in. All right, there are people who have not traveled for a few years. In fact, somebody was asking the other day, he wasn't talking to me, he was talking to someone else. I just happened to be in the middle of the conversation, and they said, "Oh, you're in Abuja now?" He said, "Yes." "When did you come?" He said, "I came in yesterday." He said, "By road?" I said, "No way." All right, so that in itself is a message. There are people who have told themselves, and this is a very deep-seated resolve for them. They say, "Look, if I can't afford to go by air, I just keep the trip. I shelve it until I can travel by air." And that's something we need to change, because I've been here long enough to know that a time there was in this country where people enjoyed traveling by road, regardless of what time of day or night it was. It was just a matter of choice for you.
Yeah.
All right. I will have a friend who will tell you that, look, I know firsthand traveling at night is more fun than traveling during the day. But that conversation is not what we want to have this morning for obvious reasons.
Absolutely.
Well, let's take a break again, everyone. This time, we're joining Ramsey Enokagbo to bring you inspiration for this new week.
Hello, it is a beautiful day. I'm excited to come your way again with Heart to Heart. Can we talk heart to heart a little bit? Let's get ourselves inspired. In case you don't know, every day come loaded for you. In every day, there is something for you. But what is the place of hope for our everyday life? Today, we want to look at hope a little bit. Some people are hopeless already, because of the things happening around them, because of their background. But then, a lot of people don't know that their background does not have the ability to put their back on the ground. But you put your back on the ground before your background even tell on you. You don't know you can break through those hurdles. You can. Let's look at hope. I want to build your hope a little bit today on the program. Let's see what Desmond Tutu have to say about hope. As a matter of fact, according to Desmond Tutu, he said hope is being able to see that there is light despite all of the darkness. You see light when people are seeing darkness. That's what makes it different. That is exactly what makes you unique. Because what others are seeing, you are seeing a different thing. Where others are seeing difficulty, where others are living hopelessly, you see hope all the way. That's what makes you stand out. That's what makes you break through. Let me just give us a little background about what hope is and how you can stay hopeful and the benefit and importance of hope. As a matter of fact, I'd like you to know that hope is the invisible thread, all right, that pulls us through the darkest times. Invisible thread. What did I say? Invisible thread. This thread is invisible, but you need to develop the eyes of the mind to be able to see this thread that is capable of pulling you through the darkest times. Some people don't know dark times are always there, but you have what it takes to see light, vision. Have you ever come to think about what happens when light appears in darkness? It will appear as if darkness has never been there. That is the presence of light. And that can only happen for a man, a woman who is hopeful. I would also like to let you know that it doesn't deny the presence of pain or challenges. They are always there. In as much as the earth remains, in as much as we are here, the tough times are always there. The challenges are always there. The pains are always there. But there is something that makes you unique and stand out. Living your life with the mentality and the mindset that this darkness, this pain, these challenges are not capable to stop you of meeting up with your dream. I'd like to let you know that these challenges, these pains, this darkness gives us reason to keep moving forward. That's what it means. That mentality that you can surmount the hopeless situations around you, in your environment, in your home, in your workplace, in your business places, that single mentality is capable of keeping you moving. You keep moving, you keep moving. I tell people all the time, there is something that is very important in life. That is the mentality that, yes, it's good to fly. To be a flyer, a high flyer, to be a high flyer is not negotiable. You want to fly, but if you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk at least. If you can't walk at all, you are incapacitated with maybe situations, the dark times, the challenges. Instead of you not to be mobile at all, please crawl. What did I say? You have to fly. You are supposed to be known as a high flyer, full of hope. But then if you can't fly, that's not the end of it. Be able to do what? To run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, be mobile. What did I say? By all means, be hopefully mobile. Because there is hope for the living. And I'm so glad that I'm talking about hope today, because in times of despair, when everything else feels uncertain and broken, when hope provides a glimpse of something better on the horizon, it allows people to rise above their present and current circumstances, no matter how, no matter the situation, no matter the green, no matter what they see, because they believe that change is still possible. That is what hope is all about. But then you should also remember that I am talking about Desmond Tutu today because he's a man of hope. Desmond Tutu has a quote. What does the quote say? That quote that we just read before we got started reminds me personally that hope isn't about just ignoring difficulties. Ignoring difficulty is not just it all, but I believe that it is about believing that difficulties won't last forever. That is how a man of hope thinks, reasons that difficulties, what did I say, doesn't last forever. It is for a time. You know, let me say this, this might surprise some persons, but you know that if you are always surrendering to difficult times, difficulties will always want to embrace you. That's what it means. But if you know that this difficulty is for just a moment, then you keep pushing, you keep pushing, you keep pushing, pulling out, putting forth for light, because that is darkness. With that hope and that belief that difficult times, challenges, pains don't last forever, gives you the hope that light will soon shine in the midst of that dark time. And I also want you to know that it is time that we all need to give light the chance. In whatever we do, we need to give light, what did I say? The chance. Because I think I need to say this. If I don't say it, then I don't think I'm doing anyone any good. Let me just inform us that it is light that guides us when all else fails. It is hope that keeps us moving even when we don't know what is going to happen next, but we believe that all things will work together for our good. And that's the reason it's very necessary for us to stay hopeful. And when nurtured, hope can inspire action. Did you hear what I said? When nurtured, that is to tell you that hope somehow, according to my belief, is a living thing that needs to be nurtured. And when it is well nurtured, something happens. Should I tell you what happens when hope is nurtured? Hope can inspire action. Because if you have the hope that yes, this thing is possible, you put apparatus together to work towards the possibility of that particular thing that we are talking about. So hope can inspire action, renew strength, and rekindle the human spirit. It also gives meaning to endurance and helps people stay anchored on everything around them. Especially when things around you is shifting, shaky, there are storms, there are dark times, people don't believe you anymore because of one situation or the other. And you stay hopeful because you are seeing something that no one else is seeing. And that keeps you going. That keeps you going. You keep building your hope. You keep emphasizing on the things that can make you stand out in everything that you do. All right, I believe someone's hope has been restored today. I believe someone who is about giving up, someone who feels there is no hope anymore because of a particular situation, is getting the hope revived again. Please revive your hope, nurture it, build it, allow it to grow, and it will keep you going. Rekindle that hope again. Maybe you were hopeful, but at some point in time something happened and the light of your hope dimmed down and it's nowhere to be found right now. Go look for it. Get that hope back again. Stay hopeful and stay on track. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Thank you.
We hope you've been charged further with that motivation coming from Ramsey. We'll go straight now to the newspaper review segment and starting with the Punch newspaper. First story, Nigeria suffers nearly 1 trillion naira export loss after Trump tariff. Nigeria, well, that detail is on page 7. Petrol now selling at 739 naira per litre at MRS filling station nationwide. Get quality. Okay, that's an advert from MRS. Well, and that's some good news. That's some good news. That detail is on page 2. 739 naira. I mean, let's see what transport companies do with this information.
What do they normally do with the information?
Let's hope that. Well, somebody was pointing out that it's this year we didn't get to see a hike in the price of fuel, unlike
the previous
years where during the seasons like this you'll see fuel on the high price. But I mean, some kudos to our dear president. Military rolls out anti-attack measures for Christmas. Details on page 45. Auditor General flags 288 billion naira INEC spending under Yakubu. Detail on page 9. PDP crisis. Turaki blew sick court order to unseal secretariat. Detail on page 9. Akpabio takes Natasha's suspension case to Supreme Court. Detail. I thought we were done with this Akpabio Natasha drama.
It's still ongoing.
So why taking it to the Supreme Court?
You know, there are people who thought, well, it's just a gossip sort of content, then we move on. Others felt, well, since the senator has returned to the red chambers, the rest is history. But what they don't realize is that there had been a few court processes that had been initiated.
Yeah.
So
at this point, you can decide to say, okay, can we just let bygone be bygone?
Yes,
I mean,
it's very
you went
possible.
to the court, you can still go out of court. You can still tell the court, I'm not.
That you want to settle out of court.
Yes, it's possible. So
what's your recommendation? That the president of the Senate should
I think they
put a
should
stop to the court process?
Yes, I really feel so, because at this point they are serving us.
Right.
There needs to be some kind of unity, some kind of synergy. If we still have this kind of drama ongoing, it means that it's affecting the service
Right, so they're supposed to
that
render.
they're supposed to render to us. So whatever the case is, please, at this point, I really feel like they can have, some amicable resolve to this whole thing. But it's sad to see that it has gone to the Supreme Court at this point. Well, let's see how that plays out. Christmas is not a moment, it's a movement towards kindness and common purpose. And that's coming from General Olufemi Oluyede, Chief of Defense Staff. Okay, those are your headlines for the Punch newspaper. Let's take it now to the Nigerian Tribune.
All right, let's have the Nigerian Tribune for you real quick. The first one there, which is the big one, incidentally, on the Nigerian Tribune front page, it says, Yuletide, that's a kicker. DHQ, police, others deploy more men in strategic locations. The writer says, Army kills 21 terrorists, intercepts logistics in Borno. You find those on page 3 on the front page this morning. All right, what more do we have? Right corner of the paper, still the front page, remaining abducted Niger school students regain freedom. Priscilla and I talked about those this morning at the top of the program. Why Nigeria's banking giants are buying more shares to secure profits. That's quite interesting, but we also understand that these banks are now under obligation to recapitalize across segments, and quite a number of them are already doing that. So we look forward to seeing how all of this will turn out starting from first quarter 2026. Gridlock on major roads, travelers stranded for hours. Of course, we have the Yuletide rush to thank for that. Again, that's the reason we're saying a while ago.
Well, I heard that the gridlock lasted almost a day. Like it's entered the next day. It was like a 24 hours gridlock, and it was really bad at Lokoja access.
That was quite a jam, right?
Yes, it was.
Well, let's hope it continues to ease up, but we're going to see more easing as we move closer to the end of the year. But this Christmas window naturally is always tight. I'm sure we've all been here long enough to testify to that. But let's look at a few more headlines for you from the front page of the Tribune this morning. It says APC to hold national convention. in March. The timetable for that is already out. Okay, we already featured that in our news previously as well. The writer says, releases timetable for World LG States Zonal Congresses. And the left side of the paper, 2026 budget, FG's 6% allocation for education below UNESCO World Bank benchmark. UNESCO says 26% minimum, but Nigeria has hardly done 10% ever. And there's the argument too that Nigeria is not a country owned or run by UNESCO, so UNESCO cannot tell us what to earmark or
well, if we really want to advance, we need to be able to meet this kind of target. I mean, it should be something that we'll see as a challenge, right? Because if it eventually happens, it benefits us. So, I mean, why not jump on it? Not UNESCO, so why not jump on it? Why are we running away from challenges like this? No, I think it's a good one.
Well, let's make progress. This time, just one more headline from the Nigerian Tribune this morning. It says, Dangote Refinery launches nationwide PMS sale at 739 naira per liter, because the man had said last week that going forward he'll be selling for 699. So we see how much of significance we have recorded now in terms of drop in the price of premium motor spirits, the one we popularly call petrol. Please do well and do yourself a favor indeed to read out details from the Nigerian Tribune today across those headlines and several others. Let's move it next to the Nigerian News Direct, and Priscilla has those headlines for us.
Okay, so we'll just start off with the first story, the big one. Remaining 130 Niger pupils freed from captivity. Detail on page 23. Adeleke, 2 critics. Judge me by my 3-year record, not my style. Unfortunately, Nigerians do not judge by records because they can change their minds anytime, regardless of your records. So you need to keep impressing. Okay, you're not protecting a broken system. Obi slams lawmakers over rejection of vote buying law. Okay, I don't think I've seen this story. So there's a proposed law, what do you call, vote buying law and a rejection by lawmakers.
Right. Okay, ordinarily ought to be part of the electoral reforms.
Okay. Okay, this is interesting.
So what you're saying is that it's anti-people.
It's hilarious. It's just funny. I mean, it's ridiculous. How do you say you want the people to win? How do you say you want democracy and you're rejecting such a law?
And then you want to reform electoral process.
And you say you want to what are you reforming? Are you reforming the buying itself so that it can be easier? Because it looks like that's what we're heading towards.
Right.
Because this is supposed to be part of the reforms. I mean, it's a kangaroo in Nigeria, if you ask me. In our electoral system, vote buying is one of the things that is still, sabotaging the electoral process. And if we do not address it, I don't know if we're not addressing this, what exactly are we addressing? It's funny though. NDLEA intercepts 15 billion naira cocaine, arrests leader of international syndicate. That detail is on page 13. And those are your headlines for the Nigerian News Direct's read of details. Let's take it now to the New Telegraph.
Right, we're going to jump right on your Telegraph in a minute. But Priscilla, this is quite a weighty issue, very concerning. The issue of lawmakers evidently not comfortable with promulgating or advancing a law against vote buying. Adams Oshobola became governor of Edo State in 12th of November precisely, 2008. Of course, the courts, the tribunal, and the appeal court haven't removed Professor Osare Melsumbo of then the PDP. And right from the day he came into office, his mantra had been, this was in 2008, one man, one vote. One man. In fact, he popularized one man, one vote mantra. At the point it even became a popular song in this country. But the question is, do politicians in their heart of hearts, in their conscience, when they go to bed at night, between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m., believe that they can survive without vote buying? I mean, we're seeing quite a number of election cycles, whether it's the general one or the ones in between, the upgrade elections, all right? We've seen how that vote buying becomes a phenomenon. In fact, it has made our elections transactional. So Priscilla is living in a house, for example. She's already telling herself, if Party A offers me 5,000, I'm going to wait until Party B makes an offer. I want to compare and see who is the higher bidder, or depending on the number of parties involved, the highest bidder. It makes it transactional. I mean, in my lifetime, I had seen someone, in fact, in this same field of journalism, who had gone to vote because he was not working on that day, and said, look, I went to so-and-so place just to monitor. I was not assigned to monitor, but because I had the pass, I went to monitor. I saw how that a particular political party was paying 2,000. This was in 2019 general election, right? Was paying 2,000. And I went to another polling unit where they were paying 5,000, the same party. So it was a question of not just which party was paying higher, buying votes higher, I should say, but at what point, in which of the polling units were the offers highest or higher, as the case may be. It makes a mockery of our electoral system. And it puts more work in front of not just INEC as an entity, but the chairman now as it stands. And the chairman has made several commitments, and Nigerians don't forget. And of course, the records are there, whether it's on video or the text and everything. I mean, his words are there in terms of the promises, the pledges that he has made. You see, if we want to fix Nigeria, this is not just about the media handlers of President Bola Tinubu coming out to condemn Peter Obi or Atiku Abubakar or those the spokesperson of the ADC, Bolaji Abdullahi. It is about doing right by Nigerians. If you want to fix, I mean, those lawmakers who are vehemently and obviously against this proposition, this legislative proposal, if something goes wrong with their private businesses, because they all have private businesses, whether at home or abroad, don't they go all out to fix those problems? Yes. In some cases, even when it means firing senior management members in those organizations. In some cases, even when it means taking a decision that their spouses or the members of their family will not like, just to ensure that their businesses do not sink. They do that.
I mean, the question is, when will we start seeing Nigeria as a private entity until we begin to see it as our business?
Right.
The problem,
and be personal about it.
And be personal about it. That is the only point we'll make progress. At this point, we just see it as a public property, something that you know, I'm here to benefit from, to put into my private stuff.
I can kill myself.
It is as bad as you're having a conversation in public space now, and you cannot even openly speak out for the truth, because almost 99% of the people in that space are supporting, are sold out. You are ashamed. You will be bullied. You will be so bullied to come out and say, this is what to come out and present a sane environment, a sane thing for people to listen to. Like it sounds as if you are a joke at this point. So the problem now, can we shift away from talking about politicians? Can we talk to Nigerians? Because if somebody does not come to offer you money, you would, the whole process will go smoothly. If you don't accept it, rather, if you do not accept it, it will go smooth. And even if you accept it, why don't we do the right thing? Do you get? I mean, can we as Nigerians, because somebody says when we're done fixing the issue of bad leadership, we'll come back to fixing the citizens, Nigerians. We are our problem. The average Nigerian is greedy. That is why this thing still thrives. The average Nigerian wants to benefit. That is why at all cost. You are in a public space and people are talking and you are looking for how to lobby or how to how to fix yourself. How to just be part of those that are corrupt. How to benefit because it sounds juicy in the ear. You cannot just resist the temptation. It's bad. Do we sit down and fold our hands and say we're waiting for an INEC chairman that gave us some promises to fulfill? Just one man? How? Is
it the first to be the chairman of the
How?
Have we not heard similar promises?
How do you fold your hands and say, the INEC chairman is going to do this? No. The INEC chairman will do what he can do, but he cannot fix it. He cannot fix it. It is our responsibility. It is you and I it is me and you that will put our hands together to ensure that this thing stops. Trust me. Anybody that sits down and says, this election is going to be good because we have a good INEC chairman is just wasting their time. That is just the reality of the situation, because there are people on the ground that are already doing their plans individually. The INEC chairman does not know them. How many?
He has no idea the number of meetings they are holding and what kind of conversation they are having in meetings.
So why would you fold your? Why would you even deceive yourself? Everybody is a strategist at this point.
So that's more like living in denial, right?
I'm telling you.
It's quite a sad tale to tell, but it still has to be told. Okay, let's take a look at the New Telegraph for you now. We'll begin with, excuse me, the headline above the nameplate. Kika says, CBN FDI inflows surge 120% to $440 million in 8 months. Yuletide, fare hikes, legal exploitation won't be tolerated. That's according to the Federal Consumer Protection Council, now FCCPC. And then we'll take it further down. What we have here, top left corner, delayed justice dusts over CJN's push for virtual hearing. Well, that has been long overdue. This is 2025 going into 2026. The writer says how to curb prolonged trial, delayed justice by lawyers. Obi attacks reps for refusing to criminalize vote buying. Well, Priscilla and I have already done justice to that development. Defection, stop complaining. You had your time, Umahi tells opposition. In pidgin parlance, they call it your US-Nigeria seal a $2.1 billion deal to strengthen faith-based health care. Several policies are just rolling out over themselves since the US stepped into our security situation. All right, so let's look at the star headline for you too. 130 remaining Niger State school children regain freedom, with 2 riders saying Christmas, DHQ tightens security nationwide, deploys troops, air assets. Nigerian Air Force compensates Sokoto airstrike victims. Dangote Refinery begins PMS sale at 739 naira per litre in MRS stations nationwide. The man was very categorical about this. He said the pilot outlets will be the MRS service stations. Urges Nigerians to report non-compliant stations. Alleged corruption, ICPC invites Dangote over petition against ex-NMDP ROA boss. Of course, that's what they say in law. The onus of proof is on he who alleges. Emergency declaration, Supreme Court pronouncements in conflicts with Constitution. That's credited to a very senior law professor, Professor Issa Sage. All right, and lastly, my favorite parts on the foot of the front page of the New Telegraph. It says alcohol-linked DNA damage tied to cancer risk study. Alcohol-linked DNA damage tied to cancer risk. Well, do well to read up those details from the New Telegraph today as we move next now to the Daily Monitor. Okay,
the Daily Monitor starts with the first story above the nameplate. Nigeria's insecurity is planned, not accidental. That's coming from Ayo Opadokun. Okay, is right up to that. Says bandits and insurgents are being sponsored by a variety of people. It's almost seeming so because it looks like it's within. Let me not touch this person so that he will not come for me. Let me not catch them.
Let's play safe.
Let's play safe. Exactly. That's what is happening right now in the system, because I know that this person has my dirty secrets. So if I come for him, he comes for me. It's crazy. Aura for aura. Okay, next story. DHQ tightens security nationwide ahead of Christmas, deploys troops, air assets. That is on page 2. No bank is shutting down. Nigerian banks healthy. That's coming from the ACAMB on page 2. Dangote Refinery launches nationwide PMS sales at 739 per litre via MRS stations. I like the fact that they have publicized this, virtually across all papers so that everyone is informed. Harris Energy seals $750 million financing agreement with Afrexim Bank. Congratulations to them. That's details on page 12. Why we are opposed to FG selling 100% stake in refinery, coming from Pengasi, please. You want to find out why. Warns that even if the federal government decides to sell 51% stake, it must ensure complete valuation is carried out. Okay. Finally, we have 130 abducted Niger school children released. And that's coming from the presidency. There are 2 riders to that. Governor Abiodun TUC hails Turaki security agencies over rescue of Niger school pupils. The second one, Governor Bago, to receive freed school children today. Okay, read up details. Those are your headlines for the Daily Monitor. Let's take it now to the new National Star.
All right, let's start with the headlines. Just immediately underneath the nameplates, top right first with a picture of Peter Obi. Obi decries vote buying as cancer to Nigeria's democracy. Troops ambush Boko Haram logistics convoy, kill 21 in Borno. That's some victory for gallant soldiers. Ambassadorial nomination, Obi's aide vows to block Reno or Mokri's posting. When you look at that list of nominees, they've all been clear. Now we understand. Reno Mokri was of particular interest. Maybe next was former chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. But now, Obi's aide is saying that, look, he would block Reno Mokri's posting. Is that not too late? You couldn't block his nomination, you couldn't block his screening. How then do you think or even believe that you can block his posting? Well,
maybe he just wants to he wants to appear in the news.
And use his bragging rights.
Actually, he's entitled to it, please.
All right, let's look at a few more headlines for you as well. Troops, we already brought you that. But then there is this one, the big one. It says, Yuletide, FCC PC vows regulatory sanctions against exploitative, unjustified fares. 2 riders with that dispatches officials to monitor market conduct during festive season. Gridlock leaves commuters stranded at Abuja Lokoja Road. How do you intend to do that one?
I was going to do that. I was going to say that. Why not provide a number that people can complain to?
Right.
Why not make a public number? Because how do you want to do this? How many people do you want to send to the motor parks?
Different terminals across the country.
How do you want to do this? Because sometimes we just want to talk. Let it be as if we are working. I like the initiative. I like the fact that they have come out to say this. We've not seen this in a long time.
Right.
So I really commend it. But it's at this point I would add that they make a public, let their emails work.
Right.
Let their customer lines, what do we call it?
There should be active
hotlines, exactly. There should be active hotlines to report things like this.
Right. Well, let's hope the modalities will be worked on, because that's what's more important, not just the announcement of the initiative itself, right? Relief as last, I think that also reads relief at last. Last 130, Niger school children regain freedom. That's on page 9. Incidentally, that headline is replicated. In fact, the entire story across news dailies today. Oyo buzzes as Alaafin honors Sheyi Tinubu, Senator Yari with chieftaincy titles. Yes. APC unveils timeline for 2025-2026 Congress's National Convention. TCN advanced projects worth $1.16 billion in 2025. That's according to the head of the company, Abdulaziz. And then we have finally a bit of sports for you. AFCON 2025, Super Eagles targets winning starts against Tanzania. on page 23. Those are your headlines from the New National Star today. Next will be, let's see, the Blueprint newspaper.
Okay, so starting with the story about the nameplate on the Blueprint newspaper, Dangote Refinery launches nationwide PMS sales at 339 per litre via MRS stations. Remaining abducted Niger school girls freed. Arrive Mina today. 3 riders to that. Troops ambush Boko Haram logistics convoy. Kill 21 in Bruno. Khan confirms release of abductees. NAF compensates victims of Sokoto accidental airstrike. Hess Energy seals $750 million financing agreement with Afrexim Bank. Our champion media freedom, engage sister security agencies. That's coming from the DSSDG Ajayi. What other stories do we have? CBN mandates multi-factor authentication for foreign card transaction above $200. Naira breaks 152,000 mark, gains 1.67 trillion naira in 5 days, and that's on page 24. Injection of $500 million into Nigeria's MSME confirms country as reformist, and that's coming from Rewen. Detail on page 2. Finally, we have you're fueling terrorism in Africa, Russia tells France. Detail on page 6. Those are your headlines for the Blueprint newspaper. We'll take it now to the First Daily.
Incidental, the First Daily is our last paper on the show this morning. All right, so I just sent the nameplate of it. It says outrage as Ekiti approves 458.8 million naira severance for ex-local government politicians. So why is there outrage? What is the motive behind this sort of initiative? Read up details on the First Daily newspaper today. And then the Star headline, free at last, final batch. It sounds like university admission. Final batch of abductors and married students regain freedom, with the writer telling us 130 students liberated after a month-long ordeal. And then the right corner of it, Obi blasts National Assembly for refusing to criminalize vote buying. And the LEA busts female drug queen in Lagos, seizes 23.5 kg cocaine. And the LEA busts female drug queen. So we even had a drug queen in Lagos, seizes 23.5 kg cocaine. Fake vigilantes exposed. Police parade 5 armed robbers in Anambra. Osun 2026 battle. APC bigwigs close ranks behind Oye Bamiji. Sheyi Tinubu storms Alaafin's palace for Okalomo of Yoruba land title. Defect and take 2027 tickets. Wabara dangles PDP offer to OT. There has been this conversation around Governor Alex Oti of Abia State. That happens to be your home state, by the way. Yeah. There are those who believe with the strife, if you like, within the Labour Party, there's no chance he's going to run on that platform going into his second term in 2027. So the PDP is now saying, look, you come grab our ticket.
Why PDP? PDP also has a strife.
The only condition is that you just have to defect.
No, not the PDP at this point, because you can't leave trouble to trouble.
So you think the PDP is also neck deep in crisis?
Exactly. So they are the least qualified to offer that to OT at this point. OT has.
But they said they are putting their house together.
Well, until then, I don't see it. I don't see it being put together in the next 1 year.
So you think it would be a bad idea if Governor Oti was to move to the PDP?
Yes, a very bad idea. A very bad idea. And I would not even suggest the APC. I don't know what is going on in the Labour Party, but whichever party Alex Otiti decides to defect to at this point, I don't think it matters anymore because he has gotten the credibility of the Abians. He has done what no Abia State governor can do. You
mean to say has done?
Has done, can do. Well, has done. Let's not say can do. But he has gotten the credibility of, Abia people, and it doesn't matter what party he's in right now because nobody would have ever thought that the Labour Party would come and even, take over APGA or PDP, PDP in Abia State. So, it doesn't matter. The personality for us right now in Abia State over party. Yes.
Well, the people from the state have spoken. Let's take a look at, just one more headline from the the first News Nigeria today before we're done. It says, Serap to Tinubu, publish original signed tax laws or face court. Of course, that conversation is quite on the front burner right now because of the discrepancies that lawmakers say they have identified between what they had passed at the House and what has now been gazetted. There are those who say on account of this information, especially the opposition parties, that the federal government, in this case in particular the executive, must by all means step down the implementation of these laws, which ought to start from 1st of January next year. But the presidency has come out as usual to say, look, nothing was altered and so on and so forth. But we see what happens on the 1st of January, which is going to be less than 2 weeks away. Those are the papers we have for you today. As a matter of fact, all the headlines we have to bring your way. Do well of details, stay ahead of the news and avoid fake news or misinformation. We'd like to also remind you that Global Television or the team on Global Morning does not in any way contribute to these headlines or their details. All we do for you is bring them to you exactly as published by their respective publishers. After this break, we'll put the rest of the show on the road for you. Do stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, let's talk about some of the news coming through now. This one has to do with the US and Nigeria in particular. You know, just a few days ago, the United States had announced that it was restricting visa issuance to people from certain countries, that is nationals from specific countries. As a matter of fact, part of that measure was to say that, look, even if you already reside in the United States and you hold a green card, you are not going to be allowed to apply for citizenship, even if, with a big if, you are eligible for that application. And that has also, again, raised concerns across the world, not just in the United States. But now the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria is saying to Nigerians and indeed Africans that, look, this is not just about you. This is not about Nigeria. It's not like we're trying to target Nigerians. We are doing this to be able to check insecurity in our country, to keep our communities in the U.S. safe. Therefore, we have to do this. By the way, the U.S. has cancelled or suspended, I think that's the word, suspended the popular diversity visa lottery. You know, Nigeria was in that category one time where Nigerians every year would apply for U.S. lottery, but that ended in 2012 because starting from 2013, Nigeria became ineligible. And then what the U.S. authorities explained under the leadership of former President Barack Obama was that Nigeria has received at least 50,000 visas through that program already. And the idea behind that program, or part of the idea, is that once a country has been issued at least 50,000 visas, they get knocked off that list. So every other country that remained on the list had not received up to 50,000. Of course, Nigeria was not the only country at that time. I think there were about 17, 18 of them, including several other African countries. But now, when you suspend the DV lottery program, as we call it, right, across the world generally, it means that it will cut down very drastically the number of people that can come to the US, because one of the things the DV lottery window does for you is if Priscilla Obasi wins it or is selected on the basis of the DV lottery, it means she, her spouse, and her children can move to the US immediately, all right? Of course, you get to attend the interview and all of that, but that has been taken off the table right now. There are those who say, well, you know, this is a Trump move. This is how President Trump, you know, carries on. Let's just allow him some time. In about 3 years, he'll be out of office, and then who knows? There are Americans who believe that the next president will be a Democrat, and as such, the disposition towards immigration issues is always different for the Democratic presidents, you know, and things like that. But what lessons should Nigeria be learning from this? I've spoken with people off the record. They say the US has an agenda and there's nothing Nigeria can do about it. Others believe that it is a lesson for Nigeria, lesson in the sense that you must now ask yourself, why do you have this large number of people from your country moving to the US? What could you have done to make a good number of them stay back here? School here, acquire skill here, work here, add value here, drive the economy here, instead of having them dispersed across the world where they are not able to contribute to what is happening back at home.
Well, I hate to say this, but I think we are in that stage or
when you
state.
say that,
Yeah, because people will be arguing and saying, okay, right now it is the game. When they talk about politics, it's a dirty game right now, so everybody must go dirty. Yeah, so there's some conversations. Right there are some conversations we cannot have anymore until we fix it. Because if you keep staying in that space, that same space, the world will go and live in poverty somehow. So you just need to just do what you got to do at this point, because
based on reality.
Based on reality, our government, they are not willing to do anything. You keep, it looks like we are helping them think, but whatever it is we are thinking is not in their agenda. It will never be in their agenda, because their agenda is quite different. So, I mean, ideally, this is what we are supposed to be talking about. Ideally, this should be the conversation. Why are you people running out of the country? But do you want to? What are you going to keep them? How do you intend to engage them? Do you get? How do you intend to keep them? That's where you start from. Stop asking. You cannot be asking all these questions at this point when you have not done the basics, security, the basics, electricity, the basics. So if I say I'm going because I want light, I have a very legitimate reason to travel out. The noise is affecting my health. I have a very legitimate reason. I don't have good health care facility. I'm in such a situation that the only emergency that can save me is the one abroad. There are so many legitimate reasons, aside say you're going to even look for greener pastures. Something that is as basic as the basic needs of life can take you out of the country. Do you get? So let us fix the basics. Let us talk about the basics, because we honestly cannot have that conversation yet. We don't have anybody to lead such a conversation because they have not done what they need to do. That is why they are all quiet. They've left us to our fate. Right now, we just have to figure out life on our own. We have to go to some safe space. And then talking about the policy that the U.S. government, we all know Trump is a man of policies.
I thought you were going to say he's a man of war.
Well, a lot of Nigerians are asking, they want to fall to the whole agenda or the whole move. Some of them have said, you see, is he exempting the Christians? Is he not the one that came out to say he wants to save people from war? And right now he's still trying to restrict us. So what can you people learn from this? Will you still keep shouting Trump this, Trump that? And I think there are lots of lessons to actually learn from this. Number one is that nobody can really save us. At the end of the day, their country is their country. They will do everything to protect their country. You get, if it is infiltrating, or if it is trying to hinder the supposed people that they feel would bring some kind of tension or corruption or whatever it is to their country, they will do what they got to do. So they love their country, and it's time for us to love our own country. As much as you are going out there, remember that I have a country. You will never be, even if you get the citizenship, you cannot deceive yourself. It is just a second. You
can't forget where you come from.
You can't. So if you want to go out there for the green pastures, or for the greener pastures as they put it, always remember that I have my country. Look for a way to invest back into your country. Look for a way to give back, because I will keep saying that it's our responsibility. At this point, we are just like children that are orphans. That is it. Or when marriage, when you have a marriage that the parents are irresponsible. Sometimes the children have to come together and put the parents to order. It happens. It happens. So that is our situation. It's so unfortunate. You do not beg to be born in Nigeria. Nobody wants to be born in a country or a family that has chaos. But somehow God put you there. It is not your fault, but you have to do your own best. That is it's your responsibility somehow to just make it work. So it's quite unfortunate, but whatever reasons you're traveling for, let us always remember that Nigeria first. During the 2023 elections thereabout, there's a jingle I did for a particular party, and a lot of Nigerians in diaspora reached out to me. Some of them gifted me, and I'm like, wow. So we have people abroad that are actually interested about what's happening back at home. They reached out to me on Twitter. I got a lot of calls and gifts from them. I'm like, wow. They really want things to work, really. So we have people that really have the heart, for Nigeria. And that is the only way you can even succeed, even if you go out there. If you go out there and trade with your identity, somehow you are forgotten. Somehow, because you cannot belong there. They will never categorize you
as part of them.
They will never. So the only way to maintain your identity is to always reference where you're coming from, always give back to where you're coming from. Just have a community, grow, invest. That way you will be successful. So I think it's a lesson. It's a lesson. No matter how Trump says he's going to help us, Trump is the president of America. America will always come first. Yes. So we have to, we have to love our country by ourselves. Don't get there, or don't go there and get lost. That's what I'll say.
Okay. Well, just to also mention that the ambassador, the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, Ambassador Mills, has stated very categorically that there are those who have been exempted. He says those who hold official and diplomatic passports, as those who are as well as those who are traveling for religious work. I guess by religious work, he's probably talking about those who are probably coming for faith-based purposes, whatever that may be. But again, it's your visa interview outcome that determines whether you eventually get to the US or not. And one of the things I learned about the US many, many years ago, several years ago as a young boy growing up, was that issuance of a visa does not even guarantee entrance into the United States.
That's serious.
As I grew older, I came to realize that there are real life people, who had gotten to the US. They had landed in America, but they were not allowed to go beyond the airports for whatever reason. Because at the end of the day, the authorities will still have to vet you real time on the ground to determine whether or not you are cleared to go into the country and things like that. And that's why somebody will tell you, I touched down in Atlanta, Georgia, but I was not allowed to see the city. I was returned to Lagos. I touched down in JFK Airport in New York. I was not allowed to go into town.
That's
I was returned to Abuja, things like that. So these are very interesting times. Just a few days ago, I was reading on the internet, someone was talking about how much he had spent this year on personal development, education, trainings, and certifications and things like that. And someone else mentioned how that he had paid a certain amount of money to his school in the US. He was denied a visa, and the school has a policy where you have to wait for, I think, 3 or 4 years to allow you that window to retry your visa process. Otherwise, you wait 3 or 4 years. In the event that you're not issued a visa before your refund is done. And he was saying that he had about $5,000 with the school at that time, which was supposed to be a deposit. And in Naira terms, that's a lot of money, really. But then what it just means is that in the final analysis, we must work assiduously to fix our country, fix health, fix infrastructure, fix education, fix social services, deal with corruption. We must be able to find a way to mitigate corruption. There's no other way to say that. And the challenge with mitigating things like corruption is that there must be exemplary leadership in it. Which means that Priscilla Obasi cannot tell me she's fighting corruption. She's fighting corruption from my end, but she doesn't seem to be living up to standard or showing that example. And it's crazy. When I see governors, in this case, former governors, who had been apprehended by the EFCC, charged for graft, taken to court, some of those cases ending up in plea bargain. And I'm asking myself, now that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has been able to establish against this former governor that you actually had misappropriated or stolen public funds, because sometimes semantics can be deceptive. Sometimes the person has stolen public funds and we say they misappropriated, all right? If you're stolen public funds, I'm asking myself, what was this man telling his commissioners, his aides, or even local government chairmen while he was governor about corruption? Because now the authorities, law enforcement has established against you that you were corrupt while in office. What example did you show your people, those who were looking up to you, those who were leading, those who were answerable to you, those who were accountable to you about corruption? Because in your case, you were accountable to the people, millions of them. These guys were only accountable to just you. So did you lead them by example? Did you take them by the hand? But again, that's on the one hand, because a lot of philosophers, political thought leaders believe that you can't just expect an individual on their own or by themselves to be corruption-free, to be morally upright, to be accountable, to be responsible. Especially where it has to do with public resources. Therefore, you've got to have a robust, vibrant, time-tested systems and structures in place to help put them in check. And somebody said that's the reason we have traffic lights, for example, because you can't trust motorists to use their mind. So you've got to have traffic lights. And then Another layer on top of having the traffic light is to have penalty in place for those who will flout traffic rules and regulations. In Nigeria, they say some people are above the law. Have we been able to prove that there is nobody
that is
above the law? We have not been able to prove that. And that's why I grew up to meet a culture where if an individual takes a governor or a state government to court, they'll tell you, no, the government will win. The case has not even gotten on the road.
You can't even
somebody already tells you that the governor will win. If you bring a matter against the governor, they say the governor will win. If you bring a matter against the IG, they say the IG will win, or the police will win. If you bring a matter against the state government, they say, no, is it not the state high court? No, the state will win now. Is that what it's supposed to be about the system? Because in the US, again, we go back to the US, that's where we say we borrowed democracy from. President Trump, during his first term in office, he came into the White House and said, well, there's an executive order now that says people from specific countries, about 6 or 7 of them at the time, Arab countries, cannot come into the US. He said because the measure was to check insecurity. But then someone went to court. It was a public interest case. On a Sunday, the judge delivered a verdict and said that American government under President Trump at that time must stand down that executive order. And that was how it worked. Jim Acosta, who at the time, again during President Trump's first administration, he was senior White House senior correspondent for CNN. Trump evicted him from the White House. Of course, once your pass is revoked, you can't gain access into the White House, just like you have in Nigeria, for example. The CNN went to court. I think within 2 days, the courts ordered the White House to reinstate Jim Acosta. Now, if you had done that in Nigeria, they'll say, no, you cannot take President Tinubu to court, you will win. You cannot take the presidency to court, or the presidency will win.
Do you even think of it?
We must rethink the process. We must build a system where every citizen can trust the judiciary. So that when we say justice has been done, it's not because Priscilla is a multi-millionaire or a multi-billionaire. Justice has been done because the facts of that matter or the facts of the case were the basis on which judgment was.
Well, systems, I think systems is something that we don't take seriously in this country. Building systems, because as humans, we have the abilities, or we have the tendency to fail. Yes, if we don't put a system that guides us, we'll naturally just drift away from, the right path. So we must, and the reason why we have leaders that would, look down on us or somehow feel like there's nothing we can do is because we have not built systems that work. Even on the, low, how do I put it now? To the common man out there. Exactly, at the low ladder, the low, the lowest phase. We have not put structures in place. I particularly have not put a system that guides me from, I'm looking for an example to give, but something that just puts me in check. You get, I am a leader in an organization. I need to put in a system where people are able to, track whatever wrong I do, and call me to order, or a system that the necessary do not have to even come and tell me. I see that this is not working. I see that I'm not doing my best by myself. I've put in that system. If at a state level we don't have such a system that can guide, politicians, or that can guide them from falling apart, something that will not, you don't really have to have citizens or people come tell you we are wrong, but something that will check you yourself and know that, okay, I'm falling apart. That kind of a system is what we need. We need systems to guide us personally. We need systems to guide us organizationally. We need systems to, we need to set up structures to be able to help us stay on check. If we have such systems working, we know that the government or a state governor will see that, okay, in this state, this office, they have so, something like this. They have a way of regulating. This person is accountable. If this person is accountable, I cannot mess around this person because he himself is accountable. And they know that if this person takes me to court, because the fact he's accountable, there's something working in his life that, but because we know that there's so much haphazardness, around us. Nobody people will take things for granted. Anything goes. Anything just goes. Everything is just messy, shabby, and like that. There's no how We can now go up there and start giving them orders, because it's not something we live by. It's not
So
something
if you can't get it right at the base,
yes,
by the time you get to the superstructure, it becomes even more chaotic.
Exactly. So I will keep saying it. We are like orphans in this country right now. We need to just accept it. That's our reality. We don't have, a good structure up there. We don't have leaders that really want the country to work. And it's time for Nigerians, well-meaning, well-thinking Nigerians, to come together. What does it take? People, you can go out there, study whatever it is you want to study, make all the money you want to come back to your country, build health facilities. What does it take? A lot of people have this money. We have an entrepreneurial spirit in this country right now, because we don't see the jobs anymore. So everybody is just thinking for themselves. People have been able to break through on their own. Yes, they are doing it with or without the government. So we just need to take it a step further. Establish systems. That's healthcare. What does it take to go out there, get all the machines you need to get? Come and establish it here. Go out there, make all the money, come and put it here. Let us show them that it is possible. That thing, that light that we say we have, is not coming to say, I will not travel abroad. Yeah, we that have traveled abroad, you that have traveled abroad, go and get the experience and put it here.
Replicate it.
Let us replicate it here. We can make it work. Let us forget the fact that we have leaders right now. Let us do it on a citizen basis, and that is the way to go. There is no other way to go for us right now, because we will keep hoping and waiting forever. If we say we're waiting for leaders to come and fix it, they will never have that conversation. They will run away from it. They will close the conversation. They would close the door, and they would go towards conversations that benefit them. So we just have to show them the way at this point.
All right. Well, we have to show them the way, but we also have to do that by example. We're taking a quick break now, everyone. When we return, we'll put our conversation with our guests on the road for you. Do stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily, while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
And the president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
All right, let's get this conversation on the road real quick for you. For some weeks now, we've seen the sort of turmoil, if you like, that has happened in the oil and gas sector, especially as it has to do with the downstream sector. But then again, there are those who believe that there's really nothing new about this, unless, of course, for the allegations that had been leveled against the now former managing director, or if you like, the chief executive officer of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, talking about Mr. Ahmed Farouk. But then we understand that matter is ongoing because those allegations are not only weighty, but they demand explanation and there's needs to substantiate them. To that end, we understand the ICPC has now invited Aliko Dangote, the president of the Dangote Group, and of course, who is also the chairman of the Dangote Petrochemicals, to come provide more evidence in a bid to substantiate those claims. I'm joined this morning by a lawyer and a public affairs commentator, barrister Oladochun Hassan, who is the president of Yoruba Council Worldwide, to help us understand the implication of this development. Thank you so very much, Oladochun, for making our time to join us this morning.
It's a pleasure to be on your program. Good morning, viewers at home.
Good morning. You and I talked about the petroleum industry a lot in 2023 and 2024, especially following the removal of the fuel subsidy. But things have moved really fast in that sector right now. Today, we're talking about pricing regarding petroleum. We're talking about availability of the product in the market. Right in the middle of that, we have the Dangote refinery, which many people believe that is here to ease the pain of Nigerians as far as the issue of PMS, fuel or petrol, is concerned. Help us understand some of the factors that could have led to this issue between the Dangote refinery and the NMDPRA.
Well, we have to look at the scenario from the prism of the rot in the oil and gas industry. The oil and gas industry has been a money-making machine for some cabals. And these cabals are both the regulator and the tormentors. And this, in a close shot, means that Nigerians have not yet felt the relief of having been one of the oil-producing countries of the world. Vis-a-vis, it took Mr. President removal of fuel subsidy, and this same subsidy itself, it's more criminalized because there have been a lot of opaque methodology in dealing with it. And in the approach of getting a resolution, we now have the advent of the Dangote refinery, which is a game changer that brought about home-made products of the petroleum product we have been paying huge amount for. Why would we be producing crude oil then we swap our crude oil for foreign companies, international oil companies. And these same international oil companies are given the badge of conspiracy, of tormenting Nigerians through it in connivance with petroleum marketers. Both work hand in hand in connivance with the regulatory agency to make Nigerians suffer. So the advent of Dangote refinery brought about the need to review how much are we supposed to be buying this petroleum product without paying for the landing cost, without paying for all the demurrage, without having to pay for the burden of tax. We now saw the need as an organization to give maximum support to Dangote refinery on behalf of Yoruba Council Worldwide and Nigeria Coalition Group. Recently, we marshaled our views to the Dangote refinery management. We marshaled our view to the president that there is no way, no how that fuel importation can continue to sustain this economy. The only thing in line with the government policy of Nigeria Force is to end importation. And it is not just about Dangote refinery. We have over 30 licensees that were given license to refine oil, to refine petroleum product. But Dangote is just being at the forefront. That doesn't mean every other refinery from Edo refinery to other refineries, even the Boa refinery coming up, will not benefit from how to sustain it now. We believe that NIDRA, headed by Farouk Ahmed, in connivance with the union organizations under the IPMAN, Bengasin, Nupeng, all of them were working, even DAPMAN, were working hand in hand to sustain the sufferings of Nigerians. And the reduction of fuel caused this, because who is the one reducing fuel? Dangote is reducing fuel, believing that Nigerians cannot be paying higher now that he's buying the crude oil with Naira. So why do we have to pay higher when government have made him to buy the same product at a easier price on Naira basis? And to many, these have really, put the GDP of the country in a higher state. It has even increased the revenue prospect of the country. And the reduction from over 1,500, now we are getting towards 699. We still believe by maybe before the end of the year, we can still achieve 400 naira per liter, which is possible. So, but the pain started with the management, the regulatory agency. They are like a clog in the wheel, fighting Dangote for reducing the price. And to us, we saw it that Dangote is only patriotic. What they are doing is more of their profit. And we believe that the resignation, or rather the sacking of Ahmed Farouk, is just one out of many that are still remaining within the oil and gas sector. And that is why Mr. President should not just end with the removal of the headship of NIDRA and the downstream and the upstream sector. They should go more deeper into NNPC, because that is where the cankerworm lies. Recently, we are all aware that over 200 trillion naira cannot be accounted for by NNPC. Who stole the money? So, to me and many Nigerians, this whole battle is not yet over. This is just the beginning of many things to come, many heads to roll. Because from the investigation of Farouk, we are just looking at the flimsy part of the investigation. More bigger investigation will come by the time Searchlight is being through the NFIU on his own financial transaction, both corporate, private, and the cronies around him. So we believe that we can achieve a whole lot if better opportunities are placed to Nigerians, and Nigerians are given a true life to enjoy the benefit of their product. And what we see is not just trying to make noise, but we are fighting for the survival of our nation. We are fighting for the sustenance of local investors, for ensuring local investors are protected. Importers are only killing jobs in Nigeria. For a company that is pride itself to have built 650,000 capacity oil plant per day, hoping to expand to 1.4 million. This is not just a joke. For a company that has brought about over 10,000 trucks to ensure that petroleum station and marketers get product at the tip of their finger, is even going further to offer credit products so that those that don't have money to purchase can as well come under the credit facility. Who else can offer this? It's just only a patriotic man can do this. All this noise of monopoly is an endangering voices to put Nigerians under the yoke of their evil machination, and those are what they are sponsoring in the media. So we are correcting that. Let that investigation be expanded from ICPC and EFCC, CBN, NFIU should join. The DSS as well should join, so that the real rot in the oil and gas sector that permeates the entire existence and fabrics of this nation, we can loosen the grip of the enemies of this country at least once and for all. And I believe with this ongoing investigation, it will set the ball rolling for success, for good governance, and it will ensure that the PIA law, which protects local refinery, ensuring that upon when local refinery do not have been able to satisfy the country, and where there is no capacity to satisfy, then you cannot import. But now, Dangote Refinery has given assurance that it has capacity for 1.5 billion a month, and it's having the capacity to ensure that it serves the entire nation. All it's demanding is give me crude oil. Because let you understand, deliberately, Dangote have been denied of the capacity of the crude oil required to manage that refinery. We are talking about 650,000 barrel capacity, and it's been given less than 150,000 barrel. Where do you expect him to get other crude oil? He needs to now go to US, Ghana to buy crude oil, which is a disgrace to Nigeria. And we are now telling a patriotic government who is ready to help. The clog in the wheel at this NPDRA, NNPC, that one standing as a clog in the wheel for ensuring that they get 100% crude oil supply. And once that is done, let the federal government stop fuel importation. At least give us 6 months. Let us see the difference. If we are not going to see surplus for ensuring that Nigerians are better satisfied, even at the demerit of the fact that these fuel that were being imported are even substandard, they are not even of great quality that Dangote is producing. So there's many issues surrounding this brouhaha that is going on.
Okay, let's talk about, because it will appear most times this conversation has the tendency to be lopsided or one-sided, all right? So from the side of the now former Chief Executive Officer of the NMDPRA, Mr. Farouk Ahmed, it is that when you serve in that capacity, you are a regulator in chief, so to say, you're naturally going to come in confrontation with vested interests, including the likes of Aliko Dangote, including giants like the Dangote Refinery and all of that. Is it not possible that whatever Dangote and other stakeholders on his side or in his camp are doing is just a move to, as it were, rail against a regulatory framework that would not tolerate compromise?
You know, if we are talking about a regulator, then we'll be glad that a regulator that has capacity to even regulate. The unfortunate situation is that a regulator that does not even have a lab to test the oil that is about to regulate. What kind of regulator is that? Regulator on paper, regulator on fraud, regulator on just gimmicks and deceit. So Nigerians need to wake up. Even Dangote Refinery's capacity is more of a regulator than an investor, because with his capacity, you can even test the entire oil that is imported into this country, because no lab in Nigeria has the capacity in which Dangote Refinery is boasting of. So even when the first petroleum product that was brought out, that was refined from that refinery, was first of all launched, the number one enemy came from the NPDRA. They came up with a ruthless lie that the petroleum product is not good for consumption, only for Dangote to bring down the same glass of oil in the foreglare of the whole world that come and test. Till date, Farouk has not visited the refinery to go physically and assess the place. It shows wickedness. It shows the penchant of how some hegemonic cabal are holding this country to its jugular. It's beyond what we are seeing. This is just more like a fight for freedom of the soul of this country. These people believe that they have capacity to do and undo. It's even taking Mr. President a lot of carefulness to ensure that he gets the right base for him to reverse some of these issues. Mr. President recently raised 15% tax on every imported product. However, these same cabals were very quick to use the presidency to upturn that 15% tax on every imported product, the tariff. In America, for the US president to sustain American economy, Nigeria will slam over 35% on every exported product that has been imported to America. China was slammed 200%. Several other countries were slammed grade of percentage. So in order to, when countries put up tax tariff on special need, is to sustain the local economy, is to rejig and put up a vibrancy that even if you want to import, you will not kill the local market. However, what has been happening within the oil and gas sector is more like an evil forest that Nigerians have been dumped in. We are not seeing the light under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who believes that let us use Nigeria's word for the benefit of Nigerians. You can see he's more passionate. Even during the meeting of the APC executive of maybe last week, he was very passionate to tell them that let the local government get their direct allocation. These are issues that are bedeviling this country. Why appears are them wicked? Must they be told the right thing to be done? Must the governors be taught where to do things? Must the NPDRA regulatory offices and NNPC be taught that what we are all facing now is a solution and not to compound our problem? So people are feeding on our suffering, and they believe that they have right to kill us, they have right to sabotage us, they have right to make sure that we don't survive. If you really witness and follow up the trajectory, in Dangote Refinery, over 22 sabotage were committed on that refinery. They were even all out to destroy the refinery. So you can see that whenever they are championing a cause, they'll say, oh, maybe one section of the refinery is not functioning. Who destroyed it? Is this same cabal? They use the Benghazi to shutting down the crude and gas supply. What evil could that be from Osifo-led Benghazi? What evil are we all managing in this country? So my passion, and I speak the truth on behalf of all Nigerians, that where we are now is to ensure that we continue to appeal to the investors, the Dangote refinery and all other refineries. And federal government should give more licensing to modular refineries so that we can have higher competition on price reduction, not competition on price increment. So for us, Nigerians are looking forward when we go to our gentry petrol to buy petrol at the cost of 100 naira per liter, which is very possible. They can sell at any rate to foreign market, but let local market feel the pulse that this thing is actually ours, and this oil is God's gift and not a cost.
There are people who believe that whatever is going on right now between Dangote and I'd like to say Ahmed Farouk is pretty much a reenactment of what we had seen with another Farouk at that time, a member of the House of Representatives, and Otedola. Is there any truth in that? More so, I'm curious. Cases like this in Nigeria often get swept under the carpet. What chances does this one stand in terms of getting this case, pursuing it to a logical conclusion?
Well, to me, I believe this case stands a bigger chance, because for a strangulated man who is just finding his breath, I think he will use all within his own capacity to fight on. Let's see how justice is even being treated when it comes to big men. People say it's only this country is meant for big men and the poor people are meant to die. But this time around, Dangote himself is the petitioner, and he is the one that is the investor, is the one feeling the pulse and the battle. However, the battle is fighting is not personal. That's why our own organization, Yoruba Council Worldwide, alongside various civil organizations and Nigeria Coalition Group, believe that it is high time we rise in support to even navigate his path, so that we don't allow him be the one producing evidences. Beyond Farouk, we are ready to ensure that the entire NNPC is audited, just like the CBN, the former CBN governor Emefiele is facing criminal charges. A whole lot of the marketers, oil cabals, who import, according to the Emir of Kano, Lamido Sanusi, said that these oil cabals will bring their crude vessel without delivering any oil or petroleum product. They will raise money for a goods not supply. They will even be roving on the sea about 5 times, pretending to have supplied petroleum product. Why are they deceitful? Why are we a nation of corrupt-minded individuals? Even sometimes they will come in a process of wanting to deliver the product. They deliver just a fraction of that product, whereby the remaining product are taken to other shores, other African countries, where they can sell at a higher price. So this corruption is deeper than what we are seeing. It will take a whole iron fist to cure this. Even from Dangote's testimony, he said the cabals within the oil and gas sector are dangerous than the drug cabals. So what else evidence are we looking for? These are not just mere statements of fabrication. These are the reality that is confronting all of us. We are at a crossroad with this oil cabal. And let us rally round. I'm imploring Nigeria, and I'm calling on the federal government to do everything within its capacity. In fact, I have expected that the Attorney General of the Federation would have given a backup to the legal support of Dangote Refinery pursuing this case, using the might of government, because it will get to some space. Dangote alone might not be able to go further. But if the office of the Attorney General is being called, and we will still take that up, that the office of the Attorney General must put up a position of backing this investigation, ensuring that Sumoto on their own position, they are giving the necessary voice so that people will not see the government as an accomplice. Because the people in government agencies are co-conspirators and accomplices in this battle of rage. And we believe what Nigerians are expecting is solution and not noise. We want immediate solution. We want the investigation to be conclusive to prosecution level and proper sentencing if need be be apportioned to all culpable individuals. This should open up other fabrics of corruption within the oil and gas sector. Beyond what we are seeing in the face value, there is more deeper entrenched corruption that the eyes, if left open to see what we are talking about, this country can go aflame. But we believe that Mr. President is capable to resolving this case, and one of the cardinals to solving this is for him to issue an executive order to stop fuel importation, increase tariff for those that want to go all nose to import to as high as 200%, to ensure that the local refinery are given all necessary support, including the federal government refinery. I don't think it's a very good idea for Nigeria to sell its refineries. What Nigeria should do is to rejig it properly. Who say government cannot manage anything? Aramco of Saudi Arabia is being managed by their government.
Right.
So it would be lazy for anybody to say government does not have capacity. Then why do you have government? So government should show more clarity that yes, if it requires the law that is managing those refineries, let them transform those refineries into private companies. Appoint private individuals that are well experienced to manage it. So it need not be that it must now be sold to an unmerited company who will just go acquire, just as the way our electricity were being sold to cronies. We need that all the refineries should be properly managed as a corporate liability company with share capital that investors can come in. Just like Dangote is going. The competition should be federal government-owned refinery, price should come more lower. So if Dangote is selling at $699, federal government should be selling at $200. So thereby, Dangote itself will have somebody to be pursuing. The competition and the end of monopoly's idea will not come up at all. However, there is no monopoly as we speak. What we just have is price war that are detrimental to the people if Japan and all these oil marketers are given the license to kill us. No, a shield for Dangote who is defending us. The fight Dangote is fighting now is fight for the common good of all Nigerians. It's a patriotic fight. Lawyers must rise. All professionals must give support. This is not a time for us to sit on the fence.
All right.
Dangote alone, just out of his CSR, provide over $700 million at 100 billion naira in support of education annually. So who else can do this? For somebody who nobody is paying him, he could have taken his money. If we can solve the oil and gas sector, it will be easy for us to call him out also to helping us reduce the price on the cement, on sugar, on salt, so that Nigerians can feel his totality of his patriotism. So, and I believe strongly we'll be ready and very, very impactful to solving this problem for Nigerians.
All right. Let's do this in 2 minutes, Oladoju. Will it not be some sort of injustice if Farouk Ahmed is prosecuted and then we pay a blind eye to those who we are told have been responsible for stealing the country's patrimony in the name of supplying crude that was never really supplied. So the question again, if we were to rephrase, is should we not deploy the same energy now, the same resources, in the case of those people who deceived the country in the name of subsidy, supplying petroleum products without actually making products available, as we're doing with the case of Farouk?
Well, that is why I'm calling on the office of the president and especially that of the Attorney General of the Federation, the NSA, the DSS. There is more to this. We are talking about economic sabotage. We are talking about cabals who are ready to ground this country. We are talking about those with resources that can change the life wire of this country overnight. Because these resources are already in their kitty. What the federal government should do first is to see how best they can recover all these funds back into the CBN coffers. Because when these funds are still outside and we are doing the cat and dog approach, we will not get any solution. President must sign an executive order for declaration of state of emergency in the oil and gas sector to end fuel importation, to review and investigate all corrupt practices. When I say all corrupt practices, that means every entry of sales of every penny of crude oil must be accounted for in the last 20 years. At least, let's just take 20 years lifespan and see how many people will this well be cut in. To me, the corruption is endemic. Because sometimes it will go to a situation, if the government is not finding its feet very strong, I don't hope that the hunter will become the hunted. Because the lifeline of this whole issue rests on the survival of this nation. But I believe if the Attorney General steps in, he has the fiat to give a wider investigation well, because Dangote can only be asked to defend only the petition he's writing.
Right.
And that's a room. But what about other accomplices? These accomplices are companies that we can identify. These are co-accomplices of people on high places. So we are not just talking about feeble minds. We are talking about those that have positions in this country. So it depends on the determination, on the body language of Mr. President to go all out. Or better still, maybe President is trying to look the way just to see that, well, let's stabilize the economy so that we don't face too many battles at the same time.
I'm afraid.
Federation
right.
is currently facing charges now. That is to show how deep the corruption in this country
of course.
is.
Barrister Oladoto Hassan, I'd like to say we appreciate your time and very valuable insight on this conversation this Monday morning.
Thank you very much.
All right, so as we're leaving it with this conversation, everyone, I will return shortly to end the show for you. Do stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Monday through Sunday to a wide range of latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What is your problem? What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Well, that's Global Morning for you today. Thank you everyone for watching. Remember, as always, that the views of our guests are their opinions. I am Uyi Agmofwe, wishing you a Merry Christmas.
And I'm Priscilla Obasio, also wishing you a beautiful day and a Merry Christmas in advance.
All right.
Global Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into